In today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at the tropics as well as diving into the modeled guidance. As you can see here on the tropics, we have seen things significantly die down, which is a huge surprise. As you can see, we've lost the system that was on the very western end. We have now seen this system on the eastern end significantly back off as far as chances of development, which is very surprising because if you've been keeping up with the channel for days now, we've seen this increasing day over day. And now we have seen it suddenly drop from an 80% chance as of yesterday on the 7-day forecast down to a 30% chance over the next 7 days, which is a huge drop. Probably up there with one of the biggest sudden drops that I've seen in percentage here ever from the National Hurricane Center. So certainly a huge surprise here. We are going to continue to track this, but it is on the trajectory of not happening at this point, clearly. Dropping from 80% to 30%. It could be gone by tomorrow at that pace, so we'll have to wait and see. Now, let's just dive into the model guidance. I don't want to spend too much time on that as there isn't that much to see anyway. By later this evening, we can see that things are really going on here for the four corner states, kind of these more monsoon type activities happening. We can see this extends all the way into the upper Midwest and northern plains as well. Along the southeast also, we see plenty of thunderstorm activity ongoing as well. Let's just keep this going towards Wednesday the 2nd here, and as you can see, we have a lot going on here for the Rockies as well as some of this desertous areas here. Again, some of that monsoon activity happening. We can see the jet stream flow is bringing some of these thunderstorms into the Ohio Valley in the kind of Mississippi River area there from the northwest down to the southeast. Now, let's just keep going with this. By the time we were reaching Thursday the 3rd here, we could see a thunderstorm pocket kind of taking place here for Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky. We see areas in Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia there. So many different states here seeing these kind of more widespread and heavier thunderstorms apparently here from this European model. And that is, again, Thursday, August 3rd there. As you can see, we reach in towards Friday here on August 4th, and we can see plenty of thunderstorm activity along this cold front here that we see develop all the way into the deeper south and then extending up the east coast here until it attaches with this low pressure system here, which is located over eastern Canada. So this is going to be a little bit more of a linear storm mode. Definitely going to be some heavier thunderstorms along that line that I drew here. Certainly one of the first more cold front type systems like this one, at least, that we've seen in a while. And it definitely looks to happen in a very big way. We do see this pocket here for some of the Rockies like Wyoming and Montana, into some of the plains like Kansas, Nebraska, and South Dakota, also bringing thunderstorms here on the more western end of things. So we have two pockets of some pretty widespread activity happening here for Friday the 4th. Saturday here on the 5th, we can see things quiet down quite a bit here for a lot of the mid-Atlantic and southeast. We could see a lot of thunderstorm activity here from Montana down through the Dakotas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri. I don't know what's up with my states today. Arkansas, and then even down into the deeper south, a little bit of some isolated activity associated with this area of storminess. So still some pretty widespread activity happening for different spots. On Sunday, the 6th here, we can see a 1,003 millibar low pressure center taking place over the upper Midwest here. And this one looks very intense, okay? We could see kind of your typical dynamics here where we have this warm front here, cold front trying to extend underneath, maybe in a little bit of an occlusion happening there. So some very interesting dynamics with this storm, looking very intense for this time of year to say the least. And by Monday, things have significantly strengthened with this one as well, as we see it has reached down to a 997 millibar low pressure center. Clearly a cold front kind of taking place like this, which would again bring more intense thunderstorms along this area, again bringing widespread activity as well, and again bringing more wind-driven impacts as far as severe weather, which will also be a concern with this system. So all of these things are things that we need to be watching for as we see back-to-back cold front systems reaching into the eastern states. And again, for the northern Rockies down through into some of the plains, we do have some more scattered about thunderstorms taking place. This time for Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, bits of Colorado, down through bits of Kansas, the western areas in Nebraska, and then the very far southwestern areas of South Dakota there. So 2 different areas of thunderstorms, once again, kind of like deja vu here. Tuesday the 8th here, we see this one reaches down to a 994 millibar low pressure center, so this is getting even stronger. Cold front is kind of bowing out at this point, just like this, maybe seeing some of that frontal boundary reaching into here. But definitely, at least through this pocket here, we're seeing this cold front take place. Some thunderstorm activity still over some of these states, down through Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, into the deeper south here, as you can see, and even as far southward as Florida there as well. The Northeast is also still receiving impacts from this cold front here that is now kind of over Maine, seeing some isolated to scattered thunderstorm activity for these spots as well. Now for Wednesday the 9th here, we see this is a 996, so beginning to weaken finally. We see that for the southeast and deeper south, that's where we're seeing most of our thunderstorm activity at this point. And then we have a storm system entering into the northwest, which will also bring more impacts for those areas also. Here on Thursday the 10th, we get another stronger system here, 1003 for Minnesota. Again, wants to bring a cold front perhaps, maybe even a warm front here. And this will be another interesting storm, maybe similar to our previous ones, that wants to take place here. I want to take a look at this last frame on the model run. We see this 1001 millibar low pressure center, perhaps a cold front here, a little bit of a warm front dynamic. Not as widespread this time around, not as intense either. But nearby the low pressure system, this is bringing plenty of impacts. And look at how dry everything else is surrounding this storm. Very interesting to see how quiet the United States and Canada gets here by this frame outside of this single storm taking place. So many different things to be watching and paying attention to. Very, very interesting. Total precipitation here looks very similar to yesterday, which isn't a huge surprise. We got kind of something like this ongoing, so this kind of V shape where there's some areas for some reason in the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic that receive a little bit less, but everywhere within this bubble here that we take a look at, it's again kind of shaped like a boomerang or a V here on its side. That is where we're expecting above average precipitation to be most likely within those red areas. So anywhere in the whites is practically no precipitation. Your grays are going to be 1/10 of an inch or less. Your greens 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Blues 1/2 an inch to an inch. Your yellows 1 inch to 2 inches. Reds 2 to 5 inches. And then we even see some browns and grays there for parts of Canada, parts of Minnesota, and parts of Montana there. And these are the areas where we expect potentially 5 to 10 inches of precipitation, which is certainly far above average for this single 10-day period here. Let's move straight into the temperature pattern. As you can see, by the time we are reaching into just a couple of days from now, we still see some more neutral to below normal temperatures for a lot of the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, and Ohio Valley. Very close to normal. It's going to be quite pleasant, still a little bit hot, obviously, but nothing like we saw about a week ago. We do see a very, very significant cool down taking place here for the northern plains and the northern Rockies there, as you can see, where temperatures are reaching as far down as 15 to 25 degrees below normal for some spots. Definitely a very nice relief, and probably even quite temperate to even slightly chilly for some of these mountaintop locations. So very, very interesting to see that. We do have a lot of severe heat taking place for Arizona, New Mexico, southern Colorado, into Texas and Oklahoma, where we continue to see a heat wave there. I want to just move us forward, and we can see that this cool down starts to take an aim at the east. Again, this area continues to be the warmest, as you can see. Now we have some of this cold beginning to pour into these areas, taking aim kind of with what we've been expecting for most of the summer. What's interesting is this PNA out west is very, very neutral. So I'm going to do an X like this because it's pretty much a non-factor. We do see some cooler temps and some warmer temps, and that kind of adds up towards neutral. And what we eventually see, though, already by the 15th, is a very far positive PNA begins to take place here, where it's clearly above normal. But most of the cold air is actually happening just to the east of the Rockies here. We're more neutral, if anything, for the east, but still cooler than what it, again, was about a week ago or so. And towards the end of the model run, we continue to see this, so we do expect this pattern to set in and really stick around until the foreseeable future. We don't really have a date there to put an end to this, but we will be tracking this daily, of course, as always. We do upload every single day, so be sure to subscribe for those daily uploads. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload, so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.